What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Canes podcast. I am totally faking excitement. Over there is Cam Underwood. He is the managing editor at State of the U. He's got that shiny, sexy, bald head and is so amazing. You can follow Cam on the Twitter at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. And we are here the day after Miami thoroughly beat the University of Pittsburgh 38-7 up in Pittsburgh. Cam, we have lots to get to on this show. Mm-hmm. The second segment we'll leave for the depressing part and also tiebreaker explanation. But for this, the first segment, let's just focus on the positive, which was a thorough butt kicking of Pitt by the University of Miami. And again, another just ridiculous Malachi Toney game and another amazing game for the defensive front. It was, other than one or two blips, a really thorough beatdown.
Yeah, man. This was the team that we thought we were this season.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, this was the team that I know that we had a couple breakdowns in the fourth quarter, but this is the team that was up 21-7. Going after three quarters against Notre Dame that people want to, go back and relitigate. And this is the team that held USF to their lowest point total of the year. This is the team that when Florida State kind of sort of looked like they were doing something, but we all said that they weren't. This is the team that was up 4 scores after three quarters. This is the team that ran roughshod over everybody. You know what I mean? And I know that, we had a couple performances that were not up to standard. And because they were not up to standard and also helped by the referees in various ways, we lost games. But this is the team. This is the team that we said that we were going to be off season. This is the team. This is the reason why I predicted 11-1. This is the kind of performance. And credit to everybody, credit for being dialed in, credit to, I know that people talk about Mario Cristobal and, his alpha nature. And, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, obviously. So people, man Campbell and man Ball kind of stuff.
Right.
I loved it when he said, ain't no such thing as cold weather. There's that, or there's soft people. That's it.
Oh, like, here's my
I
eye
know
roll.
that it's,
here's my eye roll.
I get it. But you got to have that kind of mentality, bro. Like,
okay, I get it.
Don't buy into that stuff and go out and perform. And you remember what everybody said, like what Jimmy Johnson said? He said, swag isn't talking stuff. Swag is whipping the guy across from you. We did that all night long against Pittsburgh. They didn't have a shot in hell. It took multiple penalties. It took 2 prayer throws down the field on one drive to get points. They missed a long field goal on another drive, and I tweeted this stat out, and I'm going to end my little opening thing with this. After the missed field goal, Brian the Beast London, how many times did Pittsburgh cross their own 31-yard line? And as I look at it, I believe, let me give you the correct. After the missed field goal, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drives.
When was the missed field goal? Like at what point in the game? Was in the second?
It was at 6 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second quarter. They had 6 more drives.
Yeah, I would say once.
Exactly once.
Yeah.
On the drive that ended on the 4th down, incredible play by Xavier Lucas with the tackle and the forced fumble for the ball being short. That was the only time the rest of the game after the missed field goal, let me say it again, that they crossed their own 31-yard line. Not even midfield, bro. They could barely get out of their own defensive red zone going forward against Miami after that. It was... Dog, it was awesome. It was awesome. This was, and look, and the defense could have been better. Bryce Fitzgerald got hits on Mason Heinschel a couple times, but didn't get him on the ground the way that Keontae Scott would have got him on the ground. You know what I mean? Like there was,
a tight end wide open. Just
that was before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Earlier in the game, but I'm talking about specifically in that last one. Like, right. No, actually, I wasn't. So yeah, okay, you got that. But like, it could have been. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was really a sight to see. I loved it, and also
actually. Go ahead. Please.
No, you got it. You got it. I was going to say
like 1, 2, 3, go. Just go. Just finish because I have I changing where I want to, what direction I want to go in for the next topic. So just finish what you're going to say.
I started with the thing I love from Mario. I'm going to end with another thing I love from Mario. We were going Operation Shutdown to run the ball at the end of the game, and Pat Narduzzi wanted to call timeouts. Blur up top. Cool. Because if you're trying to do a coaching point where we're going to call timeouts so we get the ball back because it's 31-7, nah. Hey, and he said, nah, I'm not going to deal with that kind of stuff. You want to call? Cool. Hey, we weren't going to throw it on third down. Hey, hit Keelan Marion on that, and then up top blur on y'all. Yeah. And people, I saw so many people on social media. Oh, well, they were trying to run this. We weren't. We said, you know what, 31-7 did the job. It shows the work. We had Carson wanted to bring that ball back. That was an interception, but he was using one hand and he wasn't able to pull it back. Fine, cool. But after that, we're like, man, we'll just go to the end of the game. Now you want to try to extend it. Now you want to try to call timeouts. Now you want to try to get off the field. Blur. I love that.
I too liked it. It did. And this brings me to where I listen, I want to talk about Ahmad Moten in the first series. I want to talk about Ruben Bain. I want to talk Akeem Mesidor. I want to talk Malachi Toney. I want to talk about a lot of things, but I need to bring this up because I think it's out there in plain sight, but it's not being talked about enough. And it might be a little bit of, as you open the show with, a little bit of too little, too late. But I sensed a definite philosophical change as far as our offensive attack and our aggressiveness towards the second half of the season. And it's welcomed. And I think it was something that definitely happened. It's not something I'm imagining, but also, as you brought up, where was it from the start? Because had you had this perceived more aggressive philosophy, maybe you wouldn't be in this position. But I'm just wondering if it's me or if that was like a thing that other people noticed.
Yeah, no, it definitely it's not a perception, it's a reality. Like,
okay.
We did. Now I agree in part with Shannon Dawson, who is always quick to let us know, hey, what we run every game is 90% the same stuff from the first game to the last game. Yeah. But that 10% makes a big difference, Mike.
But
you know what I mean?
But Cam, I'm not just talking about actual play. Like, yes, I'm talking about specific play calls, but I'm just talking about a philosophy. And I think that philosophy comes from the head coach, not necessarily the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, yes, he calls the plays, but he's doing so at the behest of the head coach's philosophy.
Yeah, no, true. And, you would have to stack a lot of things together. Really good offensive line, but they have come together as a unit more as the year goes along. The running game getting settled a little bit more as the year has gone along. Carson Beck feeling healthier with his arm and probably mentally healthier and physically a little bit healthier, more comfortable with it as well. Players in more defined roles than early in the year. And the development, the internal development during the season of a variety of players on offense who are able to do more now than they were in the opener. You couldn't put all these freshmen out against Notre Dame. And it's not even because Notre Dame is the opponent. They didn't all have the skills. Now, obviously, Malachi Toney went out and scored 2 touchdowns in the game. Cool. Yeah, or a touchdown. Whatever. I think it was 2. But you know what I mean? Like, he's the outlier. But I don't think that you're playing Gerard Pringle that much. You did play Bryce Fitzgerald in spots in the opener, but he's not the Keontae Scott replacement at nickel doing all of those things then. I know that's defense, but it's along the same lines. But yeah, there has been a little, loosening of the reins, a little bit of stepping back from Mario in terms of like what we do, particularly in the pass game, but in the run game as well. And I know, like, again, Shannon's going to want to say, well, we just run the same stuff. Buddy, when you're running all these jet sweep passes and the orbit motion series with Malachi Toney and Wildcat and like, I think the playbook has expanded in a way where it's more than 10% different. And the more than 10% different impacts how everything flows together. So yeah, I agree. It has updated, and the mentality from Mario, especially after SMU, was F it, go ball. And that's really been pervasive through the team.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't imagining things. So the fact that you have reassured me that I'm partially sane, because I'll only say partially because we know I'm not quite all there.
In this narrow instance,
is a good thing. Okay, let's get to. I just want to say this. The game starts. It's a noon game. It's in Pittsburgh. It's cold. Like, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, like, if we could just show up on this first defensive series, like, I'll know we're okay. Like, I'll know that we aren't worried about the cold. We aren't worried about the noon start. We aren't worried about anything else. We're just here to play. And I'm on my couch, and I got my big water jug, and I'm, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I had any snacks at that point, but at some point I did get some wheat thins because that seems to be my snack of choice lately. Nice. And all of a sudden, here's Ahmad Moten, who's just going to absolutely just take apart the Pittsburgh quarterback in the first series. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we are. We are good to go.
That was the first play of the game.
Yeah.
It looked like he teleported into the backfield. Like, it did. Like, you know what I mean? That was, I mean, most improved player, Ahmad Moten.
Coming back from the injury.
Right. I don't even know. Like, I haven't sent out the questionnaire to everybody for the State of the U Awards. Mr. London, you will be getting a ballot for this as well.
Oh, wow.
I struggle to think of a player who has developed more than Ahmad Moten. And he was on the ballot for last year's most improved player. So his ascension, his development, and I know that, it takes time, but like, bro, that is... I think he's an all ACC guy. Maybe it's third team, but like, I think he's an all ACC player. And for Pittsburgh to come out in their first two drives after going through a hot knife through butter against Georgia Tech and doing any and everything that they wanted all day long and having negative 12 yards of offense and 2 3-and-outs on their first two drives, that is incredible work by this defense.
Can I also say something? Ahmad Moten's a junior son. I love you. Please don't make a mistake. Like, come back and be one of the best players in the country.
I don't think that his draft stock right now is to the level where going to the NFL.
No. Oh, but Cam, you say this without realizing, like, over the last 25 years, how many guys have been told, hey man, you need to come back, and then all of a sudden there's auntie and there's the other friend, and like, hey man, you're like one of the best in the country, and then they leave early, and then we're just hoping they make a practice squad.
You make a very great point in response to my point. I have nothing else to say. That is a correct argument, well formed, well said. And so I will just say I agree with you and hope that Moten does what I believe is the smart thing and return. And also the fact that hopefully he will get the sage guidance of his brother, Anthony Moten, who played at Miami previously, if you didn't know who that was.
Yes. Yep.
And like learn from the mistakes, or not mistake, but just like his brother can give him some guidance. You know what I mean? And hopefully. So no, great point. Great argument. I'm on board with it.
Okay, let's look at the rest of the defense. West led the team in tackles, but it was a kind of a well-rounded, like a defensive performance where everybody seemed to be on top of their game yesterday. Ruben Bain, we talk every week about his impact on the game, despite maybe not getting that sack number that we wanted to see him have. But this week, 1.5 sacks, and just again impacted everything again with his compadre Akeem Mesidor. Mario Cristobal called Ruben Bain the best defensive player in the country. I don't think he's wrong. Akeem Mesidor is right behind him. If he's not 1A, then he's 2+. And then a bunch of guys stepped up in the secondary without Keontae Scott, whether it was Zachariah Poyser, Jacoby Thomas back, obviously not impacted by that hit he took on his arm last week. Xavier Lucas, as you said. I mean, just all around, everybody on top of their game.
Yeah, man. And them boys were hitting on defense. Poyser stepping up early on a Heinzel scramble and baptized that man. Jacoby Thomas going just head hunting. And it was perfect technique and legal. But I mean, like he made his impact felt. They were all over the place. Bryce Fitzgerald again making plays. Let me again say in front of everyone, I was wrong about Bryce Fitzgerald insofar as I did not think he had the physical nature at this point of his development to be a 1-to-1 replacement for Keontae Scott. I said this in the press box to you. I said it to Brandon. Brandon looked at me like I was crazy. Okay. And I've said it to others. Well, I did not think that he was at the level where he could do that right away. I was wrong. Bryce Fitzgerald can do. Now, obviously, I think that he needs to clean up a couple things because he had maybe a couple sacks and TFLs that went wanting because he didn't get the guy on the ground. But I thought he was going to be a fish out of water at that position, and I was wrong. And I want to say that in front of everybody. Made another diving interception on the last Pittsburgh offensive play of the game. He was there. You saw Chase Smith getting in on defense. You saw third Scroggins, the freshman. He had a pressure or a couple pressures, didn't have any tackles, but that's another defensive end. Where's number 35, in case you guys are wondering, with high, potential. Marquise Lightfoot out there rotating in, also doing a great job getting plenty of pressure when he's in the game. Armando Blunt making plays. I think that they took a tackle for loss or a half of a sack away from Armando Blunt and gave it to Mesidor and Moten. So sorry, buddy. But
Armando Blunt has no credited tackles, sacks, anything, nothing.
But he definitely made contact on the quarterback on a sack with somebody else there. So I think it might have been the Bryce Fitzgerald sack, actually. And they just gave the full credit to Fitzgerald. But this defense played really well. Ethan O'Connor in coverage. Look, people get beat sometimes. They threw that, prayer moon ball on the touchdown drive. And it wasn't even a jump ball situation because the receiver caught it very low. It was by his knees and the ball just kind of fell down. It was. But, other than that, he played really well. Damari Brown played lockdown. He got a defensive pass interference penalty, which was earned because he was really tugging on that comeback route. But he played really well. And Xavier Lucas, that stop on fourth down, because Mesidor is there on the tight end, and the tight end is still fighting to the line. And Xavier Lucas came downhill with ill intentions and hit that man, and then got the ball out intentionally to stop them on that fourth down. In case you were wondering why Wisconsin was so upset and why they wanted to be litigious against the University of Miami and Xavier Lucas to try not to have him leave their team, that play right there is your proof positive. You need to see nothing else.
Yeah, no, he was well worth the price of admission. Literally, I think.
Pretty much.
Let's look at the offense. I
Let's.
was gonna start talking about Corey Heatherman, but then that'll start me down another path, which is please let's just pay the man and hope that he stays. Let's talk about the offense. Another Carson Beck gem, other than the one pass, like the one ball that got away from him because it slipped out of his hand. He couldn't bring it back, blah, 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 blah. But 23 of 29 for 267, 3 touchdowns, that 1 interception. And, we saw him when he needed to run the ball. When he when he did not see anything open down the field, let's pick up some yards. Let's move forward a little bit, and I think that's a welcomed addition to his game.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Let me see. Nope, that's receiving. 5 carries for -17. So
yeah, but that obviously there was a sack somewhere.
There were 2 sacks in there. So that's 3 scrambles. That's what I was trying to get to. But yeah, 3 scrambles. I believe 1, maybe 2 first. I think it was 1 first down on there. But yeah, that's what you want. And he went through the progressions, as Shannon Dawson will tell you. This is a progression-based air raid passing scheme. So I'm looking. They bailed. They went past commit. They're in the right places. Rush is going this way. Offensive line created a hole this way. Whoop, and then just get. Even if you just stay on schedule, 5 yards on first down, even 4, which is not a successful play because technically you have the yards. Well, actually it is because you need, but 4 yards, 5 yards on first down. Keep us on schedule for second and medium. Really just a great job getting the team in and out of what they needed to do, changing some protections, changing a couple play calls to some runs, I do believe. And just doing what needs to be done. This is the player that we thought we were getting in Carson Beck. And I know that he had 2 very bad games against Florida and against Louisville. I think he had a really strong game against SMU. I think he was snake bitten by Josiah Trader dropping a ball and then also getting tackled and dry humped in overtime, and there was no call. But outside of I know it was 2 interceptions on his record.
Right.
But I still think that the SMU game was a strong game. I think his worst 2 games of the year, arguably of his career, were Louisville and Florida. Outside of that, it's been 10 really strong games from him. And this was really emblematic of the player that we thought we were getting. And I, love the energy. I love the enthusiasm after, he hit Malachi Toney for the wheel route touchdown. And, he's dapping up the offensive lineman and he's going on the sideline and celebrating with everybody. I just loved it. And yeah, it hasn't been perfect, clearly. But I'm very happy that Carson Beck has been our quarterback this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And the sad thing is, and we'll talk about it in the next segment, but if Miami does not move into the playoff and they end up going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl or whatever bowl they're going to go to, you may not see Carson Beck again, which means you've seen him play his last snaps as a Miami Hurricane. But
enjoy the ride while it's here, or I hope that you enjoyed it while it was here.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I was thinking about?
Tell me.
While you were talking, is we talked about the defense before.
Yeah.
And we just got into Carson Beck, but it just popped in my head. Had we been called on a targeting penalty at all this year? Like, was anyone tossed? Because this used to be a really big problem. And now
maybe Wesley in a game.
Oh, okay, maybe it's possible.
I think it was like
possible
one.
Maybe
okay.
2.
I think it was 1.
Yeah. Okay. Like again, this used to be an issue. But it's as I was watching. Was the Iron Bowl last night where they had each team had a player tossed? It was like other games, other teams, like this continues to be an issue for them. We've had maybe 1 this year. Okay, I don't know why that popped into my brain, but I was like, oh well, this is an improvement that we're not getting guys suspended for halves or games because of us not knowing how to hit without taking a helmet into helmet. So
yeah, I'm trying to look it up in another tab right now. I see penalties.
I mean, if it was like early in the year, maybe Wesley, but
I think it was once. But you're right. I mean, we used to have the Amari Carter weekly targeting watch.
Correct.
On Twitter, we nicknamed him affectionately Mr. CTE because he was just going in with his head like it was 1987, just like you know what I mean, just like So we haven't had many of those. I mean, I know that last year Wesley had the one reviewed at Georgia Tech. No,
you know why?
Moten.
By the way, I just looked. I just looked it up. Sorry to interrupt you. I know why it is completely eluding us. It was first quarter. Bethune-Cookman, Wesley Besaith was ejected for targeting.
I told you it was Wesley. I told you it was one. I told you. I couldn't get the game, but I knew I told you. Bang, baby. I know ball, and I know the stats on this team because I'm a nerd. Not the stats. But yeah, so I mean, like last year you had Wesley with a correct no targeting call on Fernando Mendoza at Cal when he baptized him on that last third down to get the ball back. You had Moten incorrectly called for targeting at Georgia Tech last year, which was a very impactful call since that game had few points in it. But yeah, no, this year it's really only been that. So yeah, credit to the coaching, and Mario's always said we drill it really hard. We work on the fundamentals. Like if it happens, it's not by our intent and design, but we also coach it out of them so that they don't do it. And yeah, no, that's a very astute observation on defense, but true. Yeah.
I don't know. My brain
was
seriousness. Okay, back to the offense. Go ahead.
How did you feel about the return of false starts this week?
I did not like it. The words that came out of my mouth directed at certain offensive linemen were not pretty.
How did you feel about? Walk me through your immediate thought process and reaction when they called aiding and assisting the runner against Matthew McCoy.
First of all, I had my family was yelling at me that this was not a real penalty, that this was made up, that this was a thing. And I said, no, because as soon as they called it, I said, he must have pulled him into the end zone because that's in my mind. I immediately go to what the rule is. He must have pulled him into the end zone. That's the only thing I could think of. And so I'm explaining to my family, no, this is a real thing. It's not called often, but it is a rule. It is a penalty. I said, I need to see a replay. And okay, at first glance, sure, there was some tugging. But then when they came to the flip side from the back of the end zone, you realize, he didn't really pull him in. He just happened to be on the receiving end of a running back falling into the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
He had his hands on him.
Blocking somebody else in his hand.
Right, but he wasn't really physically pulling him in. He just was falling back as the running back was coming to the end zone. And I'm like, well, that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I was very, very, very upset. Marty Brown had already scored. And
yes.
He was falling, was McCoy engaged in a block. And did his hand touch the shoulder pad area of Marty Brown? Yes. Did he, as I looked up the rule in another tab, a penalty for an offensive player pulling, lifting, or carrying a ball carrier to help them advance. Did he pull, lift, or carry?
No.
But also, I don't believe, because it was shout out to ACC refs for being atrocious again. I don't believe it was properly adjudicated.
Shout out to them letting us in on the command center again. And also shout out to the ACC for letting us see behind the scenes of the worst officiating in the entire country.
The penalty was assessed for 0 yards, and it reset first and goal on the 4. What? I'm sorry? Huh? And like I had to think about it because when I saw it, when I saw the next play, I was like, wait, they're right back at the 4-yard line. I have the official stats feed from the game still up. It was a 0-yard penalty from, and actually, you're going to love this. I'm going to read the description of the applied penalty verbatim. Where is it? It's right here. 1st and 4. Shamar Brown rushed up the middle for a gain of 4 to the Pitt 0. End of play, 1st down, clock 5:21. Penalty Miami on Matthew McCoy enforced 0 yards from the end of the play at the Pitt 0 to the Pitt 0 and results in a 1st down. Excuse him? From the 0 to the 0 for a first, that's a touchdown. Like, that's the official description of the penalty in the thing. So, like, what are we? So it's a touchdown, and it's enforced from the 0 to the 0. Like, that's. Anyways.
Stop trying to make any kind of sense of ACC officiating.
You know, that's. God rest my father. That was one of his phrases he would always say, stop trying to make sense out of nonsense. And exactly. Yeah. Let's continue on the offense.
Yes, please.
Malachi Toney. Go.
Go where?
Like, talk, speak, begin.
Oh, okay. I thought you were urging him to,
No.
Yeah.
Brian the Beast London. The new topic is Malachi Toney. Wax poetic.
So to me, it's always that in my brain. It's like, oh man, it's just all Malachi. Is there anyone else? Can we do something besides Malachi? And then on the other hand, part of my brain, it's like, wait, hot hand. Also, he does literally everything, and also he's damn good at literally everything. Just let the boy go. Like, let the boy cook is what they should be doing.
And also, I want to just interject. Pitt kept giving us space to give him the ball.
Correct.
Thanks. He does everything. And this, again, was another, like, the scaling of what Malachi Toney can handle in the offense has been transformational for going back to, the paradigm and the more attacking. Him being able to handle the breadth of what he's doing has been transformational to the offense. And Shannon Dawson has said it continually. It is easier to be more diverse in scheme and trick plays and whatever because Malachi Toney is always on the field. And if you're watching the Wildcat snaps, if you're watching a lot of these other things that they're doing, it's the same personnel that was out there before we ran inside zone or duo, right? They don't change. And like, that was another point he made. It was like, when you bring somebody in off the sideline with a small package of trick plays, like, remember the UPS package, What Can Brown Do For You with Jakari Brown years ago? Jakari Brown comes in off the sideline. Everybody knows UPS package. What can Brown do for you? It's going to be one of those plays. For Malachi Toney, especially when you don't substitute, and he was just blocking on the outside, and he ran a short route to play before, all you got to do is just call a different play, put people in different places, and now it opens up, shout out to my musical theater roots, a whole new world of offensive plays. You know what I mean? And it's just so great. And like, he is so great. Congratulations to him. Broke Armon Richards' freshman receiving record in the 3rd or 4th quarter, I believe, with a catch. So he has that record. And since he was left alone so much and had 13, I believe, 13 catches on the day, Malachi Toney is now but 2 catches short of the all-time record for receptions in a single season. As a true freshman, like the all-time record that Xavier Restrepo set as a 5th-year senior. Like, it, and like, again, imagine, so all of that is incredible. He is incredible. The offense was also great, and we can talk even more about other players. Malachi Toney has had, I believe, 2, if not 3 touchdowns called back via penalty this year. If those plays are not negated by penalty, he already has the record and even more statistics. So, like, yeah, he's everything that we thought he was. It's a travesty of life that 247 and all the recruiting sites did not update his recruiting ranking before he early enrolled. He was never. I get why he was a 3-star because he's 5'10" and he's not like the fastest player in the world as an early recruit. But if he would have stayed for his senior year, that would have updated and increased to the reasonable high 4-star or 5-star that he was as a freshman. He should have been. But this kid is incredible. And just shout out to him, his work ethic and performance.
Malachi Toney gives me an update to the story I tell when people talk about stars and recruiting, and I have to go back to Ed Reed.
Ed Reed is a 2-star.
Yeah, 2-star, and ended up being a Hall of Famer. So he gives me an update to that story. The offensive line. We did have some penalties that were not good, and I think you tweeted about it during the game.
Okay,
we switched up a little bit of formation on the offensive line. At first, I thought it was unbalanced, but Mario called it something else in the post game that I hadn't heard. Some sort of tackle, something, whatever. I don't know what it was. I'd have to go look at the transcript, but they did some interesting stuff along the offensive line that you tweeted about during the game that I thought was okay. We're doing some unique stuff here. I like it.
Yeah, on the Malachi Toney touchdown pass play to Elijah Lofton, they moved Anez Cooper from right guard to left tackle. So the alignment was Cooper, Markel Bell, Matthew McCoy, James Brockermeyer, right next to Francis Mawinoa. So from left to right, it was the right guard, then left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle. And then they had 2 tight ends on the wing next to or attached, and then on the wing next to Mawinoa, and that's where Lofton was and everything. I didn't clock how many other times they went to that alignment. I just remember it when I was rewinding and rewatching the touchdown play. I was like, whoa, what? Like, hold on, that's 73 all the way on the left. Am I crazy? And luckily I, have the ability to pause the screen. So I did it and I looked at it and whatnot. So another wrinkle that I guarantee we didn't see earlier in the year. Shannon Dawson, honestly, at this point, I think we're just going to have to throw out the 90% thing. We're probably at 75, 80% of the same stuff that we always run because you weren't running that before.
No, there's no chance.
You know what I mean? Like
listen, the play that they ran, the actual Malachi Toney throwing to Elijah Lofton, okay, but the way they accomplished that, the way they executed that play was a totally different concept than anything we've seen. Exactly.
So yeah, you have a similar outcome, but you have a different scheme that was employed. You want to even talk about it was one of the plays that was the meta when College Football 26 came out. It's from the Penn State playbook of a wildcat with a bubble to the quarterback and whatnot. Because we ran that with Mark Fletcher and Carson Beck. I never want to see that again. Mark Fletcher cannot throw the ball. Don't do that. No, hand him the ball and let him run forward, please. But
I'm pretty sure in Mark Fletcher's pass, he passed.
He did, and it was incomplete, and it was terrible. I don't want to see that ever again.
Yeah. Okay.
But my point is, that's new and different scheme. Right. So that's an addition, and I get it. And I told you for a long time, even on this here podcast this season, Shannon Dawson got more scheme than a little bit. He has reams of paper and notebooks, and a lot of this stuff that we're just not seeing. I believe that they've worked on this stuff in practice, but it hasn't been implemented in games. And sometimes you need the scenarios to present themselves. But the breadth of diversity that we're seeing is substantial, and also when you have different players with different skill sets, then you get Gerard Pringle, breaking plays outside, 80 yards on 10 carries and, things like that. But there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on and I don't hate it.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
Because I know you want to. I know this is a pet peeve of yours.
Oh God.
Keelan Marion, drop ball, go.
I hate drop balls. I hate it. It killed the drive. It took points off the board. It needs to stop from everybody. I don't care who it is. Don't drop the ball. A really killer play early in the game. Luckily, Miami was able to overcome it. Work on the jugs machine more. Continue to do what you need to do. Stop dropping the ball. Thanks.
Very good. You follow directions well. I don't follow directions at all. If I brought my wife in here, she would tell you I've never followed one direction ever.
Great,
I want to talk about. I just want to give him quick props. Alex Bauman had a couple of cool catches.
RPOY pop.
Yeah. Whatever I thought he was going to bring to this year's team, he has done more than whatever I thought that was going to be. So props to that young man for doing that. Running game. I just looked I was like, what? At a running stat. Do you know what that stat is that I looked at and thought, what?
Yards per carry?
Nope, that was not it. I mean, I didn't look at that yet, but it was Gerard Pringle having 82 yards.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know, but I just had to see it for myself, and I was like, oh wait. Now he did have the 38-yard run.
It was to say almost half of that on that one run up the left sideline. Yeah,
right. But listen, Mark Fletcher, 10 carries, 30 yards. Malachi Toney ran the ball a couple times. Marty Brown was involved a little bit later in the game. Marty Brown also caught a touchdown pass, so that was good. But the running game, it was okay. It was good enough. 140 yards, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Pringle was very consistent and once explosive. At his rushing play log, he had 8, 4, 7, 7, 6, -1, 6, 5, 2. Oh, and mixed in there 38. Yep. So, look, it was. He was getting chunks. If you're getting 6, 7, 8 at a clip,
he was getting 6, 7.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was such a good performance from him. And then you actually hit the explosive that was there that we missed last week. The hole was there at Virginia Tech and we didn't find it. It was there this week. He hit it. And that was really great to see. I know that the raw number for Mark Fletcher wasn't great. I know that he converted a bunch of third downs, which was awesome to see. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 third down conversions and a touchdown for Mark Fletcher. And Miami only faced 7 third downs and converted 4 of them. So 75% of your third down conversions, Mark Fletcher. So I'm okay with the raw number not being huge for the performance and the impact that was had there. So, yeah, an efficient running game, getting back towards who we are as a running team, as opposed to what we saw, which was the worst rushing performance of the year, our second worst at Virginia Tech. But, yeah, it was complimentary football on offense, and, they just – honestly, Pitt was overmatched. They were overmatched. They were out-coached. They were out-hustled. They were out-desired. We wanted it more on both sides of the ball. They just – and the broadcast kept saying they don't have a defensive lineman who's north of 290. Our smallest offensive lineman is 6'2.5", 295.
Yeah.
That's our smallest at James Brockermeyer. That means you got the Monstars next to him. Lean on them. And, we were able to do that and it was able to be effective. And, Carson Beck had all the time in the world to, knit sweaters back there. I know that he got sacked twice, but those are really the only 2 times that they got pressure on him. There might have been a third one, but diverse offense. The ball found a lot of people, put up a lot of points, and had Keelan Marion not drop that ball, I think that, look, there were 2 things that inhibited this from being a 50-burger. Number one, Keelan Marion dropped that ball on those first or second drive of the game. First drive, excuse me, because we scored on the next 5. And then the Carson Beck ball slipped out, wanted to take it back, interception play. Those are probably both touchdowns. You're looking at a 50-burger. So margins are thin, but we still did numbers.
All right, we got to take a break. On the other side, we got to talk about the big picture, the ACC Championship, the CFP, how Miami's getting screwed every which way and forward. We'll try to make something of the big picture on the other side. You're listening and watching the Real Ones Canes podcast. We are back here in the Real Ones Canes podcast. I'm Brian the Beast London. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. He's Cam Underwood. He's managing editor, State of the U. Follow Cam on Twitter at Underwood Sports. StateoftheU.com. It is simply the best place to go find all of your Miami Hurricanes coverage, open 24/7, 365. I can only imagine that in the time since the last whistle blew as Miami beat Pittsburgh till now, Cam has written about 27 articles and pumped out content like no one has before. Cam, what is going on this morning at State of the U as we record this Sunday morning?
Less than last week, because obviously we don't have a game forthcoming in the conference championship game. I have been working on the recruiting notebooks for signing day, so that's where I've been putting my energy. So I know that there were all the things on the site, but from me last week, but there's still plenty of great stuff. We have plenty of community members joining the feed and adding their own flavor. I know that I'm putting highlights and other kind of things, but it's really great to see this starting to take off. Your film review from the win by Justin DeTavio is up already here on stateoftheu.com. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly with 216 new comments. Wow, Zers. I got to check that out. 3 stars from the game at Pitt. The recap, your game thread, you can go back through 723 comments. Jake Marcus talking about deja vu in the Steel City. This is before the game. So before you come at him and say, well, this was written in the morning. Our game preview, injury report, all of that and more. And yes, there will be plenty of stuff coming up for early signing day on this week, Wednesday. It's single digits of the recruiting notebooks that need to be completed. I am hopeful that I'm going to be done. But I'm hopeful that by Monday, midday, I am completed with all of the notebooks. Then I can go over dotting I's and crossing T's to be ready for Wednesday.
You don't have to take time out of your day today to watch the Lions. They played on Thanksgiving. I don't want to remind you about that, nor talk about that anymore, and I'm just going to stay away from that. But I'm just saying that your NFL team is off today. Mine is also off, but that's because we play on Monday night. But that's neither here nor there.
I multitask anyway, jerk. That's why the Pistons beat the Heat last night.
I felt so bad.
Yeah, whatever.
Props to Duncan Robinson in his return. All right, let's dig into this. Last night into the wee hours, our friend Brandon decided to slide into our group chat, outraged that Miami was not going to make the ACC Championship game.
What?
And he could not comprehend.
What? Are we not? What? Why?
He could not comprehend that Duke was going to go, and Cam and I just keep writing tiebreakers. Wait. I don't.
Miami's not going. Why tiebreakers? Wait, but what? But how's it tiebreakers? Well, but Duke, they're the tiebreakers. But hey, but they don't tiebreakers. Like literally at one point, my text was all caps, tie, period, break, period, period. Like, what do you want me to do, bro? Like, you're not wrong, but we've given I've given you the answer. And I said, appealing to Brandon's nature as a pastor, I said, I don't want to look up the full chapter and verse. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you the overview.
Yep.
However, I have done so to look up the chapter and verse of the tiebreaker policy from ye olde Atlantic Coast Conference. If there's a 3 or more team tie at a certain record in conference, which we have with multiple teams at 6-2, Tiebreaker procedure will be used to either identify one championship game participant or identify both. It's one in this instance because Virginia went 7-1. Or eliminate teams from the tie. And the ties are combined head-to-head win percentage of all teams tied if all teams tied are common opponents. They're not because we didn't all play each other. If all teams tied are not common opponents, the tied team that defeated each of the others, but that doesn't apply because everybody didn't play everybody else. Win percentage against all common opponents, but everybody doesn't have common opponents. Win percentage against common opponents based upon order of finish, but everybody's tied at 6-2, so it doesn't get to that. So we're down to the 5th tiebreaker. And this is the deciding factor because of games such as Stanford, Cal, and Virginia, Syracuse, Boston College, right? So games like that determined Duke to go over Miami because the 5th tiebreaker in a 3 or more team scenario is the combined win percentage of conference opponents. So you're telling me, again, Syracuse, Boston College, and that game, the result of that game determined who goes to the ACC Championship game. I want to be mad, but this is exactly what we've been saying. The ACC is such a I don't even want to call it a mom and pop shop, because that's disrespectful to mom and pop shops. It's such a horribly run
backwards.
entity.
It is backwards. It is
backwards, stupid. I mean, lacking any kind of logical foundation. The American Conference has it right. If you have a tiebreaker, number 1 is head-to-head. Number 2 is college football playoff rankings. Boom, done. And yeah, but to have these also ran teams who are inconsequential at the top of the standings, but having their results against other inconsequential teams having consequence, Duke didn't play anybody in conference. You know what I mean? They didn't play any of the top contenders. And because of that, they went 6-2 against the dregs of the earth in the conference, but they skate to the ACC Championship game. And it's just honestly, and I know that it was COVID, and COVID is different, or it was its own time. That year, the Big Ten said, hey, we're going to swap out a team, and we're going to make the Big Ten Championship game the matchup that we want to see. Because it's going to have more impact and whatever.
But that was
ACC. I know. I said that first, Brian. I said it was a different time.
Because it's not against you, Cam. It's because I've gotten 27 people slide into my DMs hey, the Big Ten did this. Why can't we do this? And it's because they didn't have a team that had enough conference wins to even satisfy anything, so they just had to make a decision. But
the ACC could make the decision because they could have said, we understand that we put these in place, but for the good of the conference and the strength of the conference moving forward, we're going to step in and we're going to place a team with the same conference record, but a higher standing in the eyes of the College Football Playoff Committee. We're going to not put a 5-loss overall team that went 1-3 in the non-con on the big stage. We're not going to do that. We're going to replace them with Miami. If they had a brain and they had cojones, they would have done that. But
because you don't seem to comprehend that. Well, I know you comprehend, but I'm saying you're not taking into account that the Atlantic Coast Conference really stands for the All Carolina Conference, which means if it happens in the state of North Carolina, they care. If it doesn't, they don't. And good luck.
Pretty much. Right. And they've built their whole entire identity over the course of 40 years around Duke basketball. So they're we actually are still trying to profit off of that, and we don't want to run afoul of them. So even though it's a different sport, we're going to. But again, it's the fifth tiebreaker of opponent conference records with games all the way down the list that mean like honestly, had Syracuse won that game, we would be in the conference championship game. Like,
also, explain to me again. NC State Virginia did play earlier this year. NC State beat Virginia 35-31, except it wasn't a conference game. It was an out-of-conference game between two conference teams. Make it make sense. Anyways.
Can't make sense out of nonsense.
All right, so we're recording this Sunday morning, and again, last night, yesterday, literally not one thing happened that helped the Miami Hurricanes case as it relates to the CFP.
One. Well, to the CFP, but the only because that would have been for the ACC championship game. But there was
the Cal SMU.
Cal coming back and beating SMU. Over the course of the last 3 weeks, the only result outside of Miami handling their business, the only result that we've gotten that from the outside that was helpful to Miami's path forward was Pitt beating Georgia Tech last week. But in the last 3 weeks, absent again, Miami handling their business, which we did. Other than that, whether it's Cincinnati, BYU, whether it was K-State, Utah, whether it was the Iron Bowl, whether it was like whatever, every other game that a particular result could have helped Miami, that result did not happen. I mean, just, yeah.
Listen, I'm just thinking out loud here. So I know there's two big days in Miami Hurricanes content this week. Tuesday night after the CFP rankings and Wednesday after early signing day. Now, I'm going to propose this because we can sit here and talk about all of the stuff as it relates to where Utah should be, BYU, Alabama, all of the stuff, right? But I don't want to have an aneurysm based on what I think the college football committee is going to do. I'd rather just wait and see it for myself on the screen before I absolutely freak out and probably throw electronics.
I know what they're going to do. I've told y'all what they're going to do.
I know. Listen, I know what they're going to do. You know what they're going to do. Everyone knows what they're going to do. But I just want to see it on the screen for myself. And then I want to listen to that jackass try to explain his way out of it. So I'm just throwing this out there. We have not discussed this. I did not do a good job of having a pre-show meeting where we flesh out everything that I'm going to bring up. I didn't print a rundown to give to Cam for him to follow. I didn't even put anything in the private chat that we used to talk back and forth during the show while we're talking. So here's what I will throw out there. We could do a watch-along live show while the CFP is going on. And in real time, we can watch Cam and I possibly stroke out. We could do a quick recap show after it comes out. We could go live after the show so that we've had a moment to take a deep breath before we stroke out. Or we could just wait till Wednesday night and include the CFP and recruiting in our weekly show.
I'm going to tell you like this here. On Tuesday night, if we do, I can give you about 30 minutes. Maybe 45, but I'm going to want to be sure that everything for signing day is one of my biggest blogging days, probably the biggest blogging day for me of the year. Every year, when I was still teaching, I would take the day off so that I could do everything, and so like that's a Super Bowl day for me. So I'm going to want to be prepared, but. Yeah, we can flesh out the details later. But if you are listening or watching, what you should do, dear listener and viewer, is put in the comments what would you like to see from us on college football playoff ranking day. Live watch along, quick recap, or live recap with you guys in the chat. Put it in the comments, and whichever one gets the most, we'll commit to doing that. How about that, Brian?
Yeah, that works well. Real
So
quick,
y'all let us know.
Real quick before we get out of here, Cam, just a quick recap, or not recap, but preview of early signing day. I feel like from what I've read, there's not supposed to be surprises of any standpoint. What are we looking at? Again, as someone that I literally follow recruiting basically as some tweet pops up in my feed. That's about it.
Yeah, no, just like State of the U is open 24/7, 365, I follow recruiting that often as well. So been in the trenches with this class as it has been built. Miami has 29 players committed in this class. We parted ways with one of our commitments just this past weekend. It was mutual parting ways, but like it just kind of came to pass that like he's not going to be in this class, especially with a couple of recent additions at his same position. So there are 29 players committed. There was a player who just took a visit, Carson Beck, this past weekend while the team was in Pittsburgh. He is a Louisville native who was committed to Louisville and just decommitted from there. He plays linebacker, which is the position that Corey Heatherman coaches, and Corey Heatherman reportedly loves this kid. So that would be a potential addition on signing day who is not presently committed. Other than that, I do not expect any fireworks. I don't expect a 5-star flip or like a Lamar Brown, like a top 5 player in America who's from Baton Rouge and committed to LSU. I do not anticipate all of a sudden he's going to flip to Miami or anything like that. But with the kind of talent that we have, this is a top 10 class at present, including the longtime number 1 player in America, the number 1 offensive tackle in America, Jackson Cantwell from Nixa, Missouri, who Miami beat everybody in America to get at the top of this class. So that's your headliner for sure. But that's not where the elite talent stops in this class. There's plenty of guys who can really, 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 really play football. So you're going to be excited for that. And that's at every single position other than kicker. So it's going to be a long day for me, with, again, 29 current recruits or current commits, potentially adding Carson Beck to make it 30. And everything. So, yeah, it'll be a very interesting and busy day as Miami continues to build one of the elite rosters in the sport. And so you guys should dial in with me on stateoftheu.com. Also on the Facebook, the State of the U is the page. And also on the Twitter, I will be running the State of the U Twitter, which I do all the time, which is at the State of the U. There's a the up front for that on Twitter. Posting all of the recruiting notebooks. There's only been one player in 12 years that I did not write a recruiting notebook for because I had intel that he was not going to end up in Miami's class and ended up signing with Miami. This player is no longer on the roster. He was here for a cup of coffee and literally did nothing. But he's the only player since I've been doing this that I have not written a recruiting notebook for. And like you've seen that I've pulled up notebooks on this show, like the Emory Williams one with the future forecast. Like
it's something
incredible.
that
So that's what's
two years down the line we're going to refer to and be like, oh yeah, okay, Cam wrote about this and X, Y, and Z.
I mean, literally every recruited player on the roster, they're not transfer portal. So that's the quality. But every high school recruit that matriculates from high school to college at the U, there is a recruiting notebook for, with the one exception in 12 years, which is the fly in my ointment. But you know what? I will just have to accept that. And it'll be another long day. So that's really what we're looking at on signing day. Please be sure that you are there with me. I will have my iced red eye with mocha and a splash 2% ready to go. And everything early in the morning, and just following along with that. So yeah, it'll be a good day. And again, I know that people don't pay attention to recruiting along the way. When you see these notebooks and we see these rankings, this is a really elite collection of players. And when you see the performance like Miami put on the field against Pittsburgh, and I saw a lot of people tweeting it. I think it was Mike Cuneo from CBS 4 and like Will Manso and other people tweeting the phrase, call players, not plays, because players are the ones who go out there and perform. When you have the kind of recruiting haul that Miami is going to have, you have the guys. It's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. And our collection of Jimmies and Joes is really elite.
Maybe you said this and I just completely missed it, but where is Miami, like as of now, where is Miami's recruiting class ranked? What number?
10th in the country, number 1 ACC by a mile.
Okay. All right. So do me a favor. One, go to stateoftheu.com and read everything that Cam and his staff put out. And you will want that. You will want to bookmark it as it relates to this recruiting class, because you will have all the information at your hands that other people will not have, because all of their stuff is behind a paywall and all of Cam's stuff is free. So you're going to want to go get that too. You're going to want to comment in the comment section down there. If you're watching on YouTube, please, what do you want us to do as it relates to the CFP committee show on Tuesday night? Do you want us to do a live watch along? Do you want us to do a live recap, or just a recap that we put out and then you watch when you want? And 3, subscribe, share, watch, comment, do all that stuff, because the numbers are getting bigger and broader. And as the numbers grow, it gets shown to more people. That means more people comment and we develop a community. And that's what I really want around the show, is people to be involved. So do all of that. Cam, I appreciate you taking time on this Sunday morning. I'm going to go just stay tuned to my Twitter to see what Lane Kiffin is demanding from Ole Miss at this point. And I'm also I'm being dragged to retail stores.
Oh yeah,
it's the weekend of shopping.
Okay.
And
so all right, so are we talking? Are we talking
nope.
Target? Are we talking Home Goods? Like, what are we?
Oh no,
are we talking Sur La Table? Like, what are we doing?
This is called, hey, let's just drive out there and see which parking lot we turn into. That's what this means. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because
can you do me a favor? I know it's you. If you could do me a favor. Okay. See, I'm Jewish, so our Sabbath is Friday night to Saturday night. So today is not a holy day for me. But for those that are Christian, Sunday is a holy day. If some of you could pray for me, because I love shopping as much as Cam loves Louisville fans.
Which is not at all. Absolutely hate them. And yes, so in case you guys didn't get the reference, I hate Louisville.
Yes. Yeah, so if look, if you're heading to church like right now, or coming from church, or maybe you see your pastor, or maybe Brandon is listening, someone just throw a prayer up, please. Someone,
absolutely.
Anyone? I will need it.
I will, as I sit here with wearing my crucifix, as I always do. Yeah, honestly, the only thing I can say is the thing that helped me in similar instances, like going to Publix the day before Thanksgiving, that kind of a thing.
No. Yeah.
Is reframing my own mind. You're saying, hey, there's a lot of people here. I have my headphones. It's going to be okay. I'm going to give grace and understand that there's a lot of people and there's a lot of lanes open here at the front of this Publix, the local Publix I always go to in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm just going to go on my route and do my thing. And I'm going to wait with patience. I'm going to listen to my music and my podcasts. And I'm going to and it will be fine, because I'm starting this journey. I'm going to go through this journey, and I'm going to end this journey. And just that personal reframing of focus has been helpful for me. So I share that with you, my good friend, as you venture out into the world to do a similar kind of thing today. Just take a minute, just like Martin in Bad Boys, just woosah, breathe, and all will be well.
Here's what I'm hoping. That the parking lots are packed, and I'm just going to have to drop them off while I go look for a space. And then, oh, wait, I just couldn't find a space, and I'm just happened to stay in the car for 2 hours. Anyways, we'll just see.
You put that plan out in public. She listens to the show, right? Oh
no, she doesn't listen to the show. The show won't be up before we go out. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. Cam, thank you very much for spending time with us on a Sunday morning.
Always my pleasure.
All of you out there, I appreciate you for spending time with us. We really appreciate everyone that watches and listens to the show and comments and all of that stuff. Thank you so much. We will see you next time right here on the Real Ones Canes podcast. Peace.